Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I almost missed it that time, even after doing this a few times.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. The beard's still gray and it's getting even longer. And with me, as always,
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And please consider subscribing to the Bog Panda YouTube channel, hitting the old notification bell. Maybe, which that wasn't a Pink Floyd album, right? No, that was
the old notification
the
bell.
old notification bell. I think there was something close to that, signal bell or something. But
You're saying that they predicted YouTube.
That's right. They were what I refer to as the dehydrated Pink Floyd, because that was the one without Roger Waters. Anyway, hit that notification bell, like a few of the videos if you'd be so inclined. Leave us a comment or two. Love to hear from you, and maybe take a peek at the fine Bog Panda merchandise.
Absolutely. You guys don't want to miss out on that. And for that one guy who's going to leave a comment that says Sid Barrett was the only lineup of Pink Floyd that mattered, there you go, Kelly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but they were fully hydrated. They were hydrated.
They were hydrated.
Barrett was there. Yeah.
So today we are here to talk about the CES announcements that have been coming out. And unlike the past few years, Arcade1UP has somehow managed to keep their leaks minimal. And for anybody who thinks that that's just a marketing ploy of theirs, they actually lost a license over that for one of those leaks. So nope. Yeah, so they were supposed to do a Neo Geo cabinet, and there is the Neo Geo cabinet. They didn't do it because it leaked out. So Arcade1UP though made it all official and put the new cabinets up on their website already, so that you can sign up for notifications on them, and some pretty interesting stuff, including the long rumored Pro series is finally coming out. And I guess that's it's not the one I'm most excited about, but that is obviously what everybody's going to be talking about. So what were your kind of initial reactions to all this, sir?
So I thought it was good news. Thought it was some pretty cool stuff. I'm a little bit confused on some of the elements, and maybe you can straighten it out for me. But so they talked about a series of legacy cabinets in the announcement today. So 3 legacy cabinets announced, right. An Atari one, the Mortal Kombat's actually a 30th anniversary edition, but there was an Atari Legacy, a Pac-Mania Legacy, and then maybe the other one they mentioned was the Mortal Kombat 30th edition. And they talked about that, and then the Pro Series, both of them having a live button on Correct. There. And so live is not, hey, you've got a Wi-Fi leaderboard, an online leaderboard. That's actual co-op play. That's actual head-to-head. So do any of your at-game systems to date have the live button?
No, you the Arcade1UPs? No, I don't have any of the online Arcade1UPs. Not leaderboard or for the live play.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, leaderboards, and although we're going to do a show on that later, since Mike's burning it up in the at-games ecosystem, but the online leaderboards, it's kind of cool. Particularly if you're super competitive, it's probably really cool. But the idea of kind of being able to go head to head, do some of that stuff is the things I think would be really cool. It is what I'm just interested in. Maybe some of our folks that watch the videos, if you've got an Arcade1UP with the live option, you can kind of fill us in the comments what that experience is like, because all I know right now is the at games world, and they've done a pretty slick job. They've got an infrastructure with online chat, so that you can kind of go back and forth on there, and then basically kind of this queuing area to kind of connect up with people to play. If you didn't have someone specifically you were looking to play with, they'll have games out there and how many people are available to play and all that kind of good stuff there. And so I'm interested to see what the Arcade1UP situation is for how does it, do you have to kind of talk to somebody in advance and said, we're going to go play online, and you look for that ID, or is there this lobby? I don't know. I don't know if you have any sense of how they handle the
my understanding is that it works in a similar fashion where unless you're playing with somebody specific, there's a sort of lobby where you can jump into games.
Well, that's huge. I think so. And we had talked in the past that that was one of AtGame's smart moves, was to really build that online community and that kind of connectivity and capability. And now that's coming forward as a feature set. While they don't have the chat yet, the feature set to Arcade1UP. And so that makes these a little bit more appealing to me, that kind of capability. I'm not looking out there to take on all comers or anything there, but the ability for you and I to do some
Kelly
stuff.
just challenged all
the
of you.
world. But the ability for you and I to kind of connect up on some of that stuff would be kind of fun to do that. And so that was pretty good. The Pro Series looks like a pretty impressive machine. It's a 19-inch monitor. It's got the HAP joysticks on it, so you've kind of done upgrades there. The no riser, it's just more of a complete unit, so all that stuff's really kind of cool and good. But rumor has it the starting price is going to be $1,000 for a Pro Series, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised. The newer cabinets like Simpsons and Killer Instinct have been pushing in that $600 and $700 range. And again, those are expensive licenses. Simpsons for the obvious reasons of the popularity. Killer Instinct because it was made by 75 different companies, and you have to appease all of them, including Nintendo and Microsoft, who aren't on the same side.
Ever.
If you guys didn't know that. Yeah. So there was a lot of hoops to jump through to make that happen. So I get it as far as that goes. And with it being a pro line, of course, everything being upgraded, it's an upgraded monitor. Not only is it a little bit larger, but it's supposed to be a better monitor. There's an upgraded coin door slot.
Ooh,
for
yes.
those people who are into that. It's a molded coin door slot with the player 1 and 2 buttons that you can push in, like you put a quarter in there. We're trying to do the quarter return. So there you go, coin door people.
But that's the only operating part, because it doesn't still accept a coin.
Right.
But,
It doesn't take coins still, but it's closer to making you feel like it does. So for you coin door people, there you go. Also too, apparently there's a big upgrade on the Marquees. So the light up marquee that I have on my Arcade1UP is on the Star Wars one, which looks great. So, but I've heard complaints about some of their other marquees, which I haven't seen personally, so I guess I can't comment on them. I think it looks great. I also think the AtGames Legends Ultimate Mini marquee looks great, and I've seen people complain about that. So maybe I just don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really done a lot to upgrade my Legends 1.0 that I've got. One of the things I would like to do, marquee's fine. It's not, it's the Legends marquee, so it's no great shakes. You've got this option to do the BitPixel type of thing where it will match the game and do all kinds of good things. Probably not ready to make that investment, but there is a pretty quick and easy cheat to kind of upgrade the brightness of the LEDs in behind the marquee and have it pop a little bit more. So on the AtGames side of the equation, on the Legends series there, if you're not kind of going with the aftermarket stuff, just probably doing a fairly simple change to amp up your LED stuff will be good. But it sounds like they did okay with the Mini on that. And like I said, it's not bad. It just it'd be cooler if it was a little bit brighter. And I might even put like a blue LED in there or color changing one, something. We'll see.
Yeah, the only Arcade1UP I have with the light up marquee is Star Wars. Star Wars looks great. And it also has the LED backlighting on it as well. That's just a part of the cabinet, and that looks great as well. So, I mean, I haven't had any issues with any of that kind of stuff, but there's also upgraded speaker grills and things like that with it, all making it the Pro series. It's also coming with a mat and a stool. So you are getting more stuff for
That's
that.
true. Yeah.
So you're getting a lot more with these upgrades and everything. The biggest change, of course, is the size. It is basically full size going to the Pro line. These are not 3/4 scale. These are like 80 or 90% scale. They're still slightly smaller than a full size arcade, but it's almost there.
Yeah, and there's a little bit still the aspect ratio stuff going on with the 19-inch monitor where I think it's a 5x4 where you're kind of traditional 4x3 for a lot of games is, you still have the potential for those highly frustrating to some bezels, those types of things. But, not a big concern for me.
No. I mean, and this is cool, but to be honest with you, putting aside the price point, which is the biggest issue for me, but putting aside the price point of getting up into that $1,000 price range, the size becomes a little bit of an issue because it's getting into that point where it's like, well, $1,000 is great for a full-size arcade machine price-wise. If you were to go out and hunt down a working, decent condition Killer Instinct machine right now, it's going to cost you more than $1,000 for a used one from the 90s. So it's going to cost you well over $1,000. So that's a great price point for that. But I'm trying to fit a whole arcade into my house. So having them slightly scaled down actually works in my favor to get me some more games in there. So I don't want giant full-size arcade machines because that'll severely limit the number of games that I can have. And yes, you can add games to all of these, but I'm going for the arcade aesthetic of having multiple machines though. So that really, for me, kind of takes me out of that.
Yeah. And then on the legacy editions, they're kind of, splitting the difference that you're still the slightly, they're not full size. You can do the riser deal with it, but they're coming with like 13 games or 14 games, different mixes of some of those, which again is kind of good and bad. You do get the kind of typically one game's dedicated artwork on the outside of the system, but then more games within it, which is, kind of splits the difference a little bit. But then, you deal with the legends and it's like you start off with 300 or 350, even though some of those are Atari 2600 titles that no one would ever play. But you've got those, and then of course you go coin ops route, and you've got a redunculous amount of stuff you can play. So it's interesting, but I can see how the slightly smaller footprint plays in your favor for what you're trying to do, and you got to keep room for the old time photo booth. So.
Right. And the legacy cabinets also, just because this is the second generation of legacy cabinets now. They released a few legacy cabinets last year, and these are not new legacy cabinets. They're upgraded versions of the ones that came out last year. Everybody got excited, including myself, about the legacy cabinets, more games, slightly bigger cabinet. They are bigger than the 3/4 scale. Not that much though, not like the Pro, which is practically full size. Then you're getting into that 80-90% range. These are a little bigger than 3/4 scale. So they're a little bit bigger, slightly upgraded on everything. There was a lot of complaints about the control decks on them though. There was trim that went around them that apparently made it uncomfortable to play when you were playing two players. That was a big complaint. Also, people did not like the wings around the marquee. And the way that the screen was recessed, people had complaints about the degree to which the screen was recessed, which I don't have one, so I can't say if that really would have been an issue for me or not. I really don't know. But there was a lot of complaints about that stuff. So these seem to address all of those. If you look at them, they're actually, again, slightly bigger than the old legacy cabinets were. So again, you're getting into, these are bigger than 3/4 scale cabinets. They do have the risers though. So if you wanted to go smaller, you could take it off of the riser and you're somewhere less than 3/4 scale, I guess, at that point. But they are larger. They have much wider control decks on them. So you don't run into those kind of crowded issues. And they seem to be wider than the regular Arcade1UPs as well. So it seems to just give you a little more space all around. They're also angled like a traditional arcade cabinet is, which as far as I know, Arcade1UP only did that on the Street Fighter Big Blue cabinet prior to this. And the X Games cabinets don't do that, as far as I know, unless there's an aftermarket option for it.
Yeah, I haven't seen much on that in terms of an X Games option to do that angle, but we'll see on that. And I believe there's, some faux chrome involved in the lining for there. So there's that, not only a coin slot, but faux chrome. So
yeah, well, these have the fake. These have the faux coin doors on them. They can't push the buttons though, like you can on the Pro Edition. So for you.
And hard to get up in the morning if you can't do that. It's gonna be tough. But
I'll be waking up in cold sweats. Like again, I'm joking, but I don't get the appeal of the coin doors personally.
yep. Again, any folks watching that are strong coin slot advocates. Oh, by the way, that could be a good T-shirt. Coin slot advocate.
Coin slot advocate. I do like that.
Yeah, I think I have to work on that too. So, educate us, help us learn. We're open books, but we're skeptics on this a little bit.
See, that to me, it's more like if I was only going to get one, then maybe I'd be more interested in the coin door to give it that completely authentic feel. But if I was only getting it one, then I might as well get a Pro Line one and put out the $1,000 and have it basically be full size and take up half the room and have its own mat and stool and everything else.
Yeah.
So
with the back, the new stools that are coming out with these have a little bit of a back to them as well. So that's a little bit of an improvement as well. So
yeah, so it's all upgraded. These new legacy ones, though, while they are the upgrades on the existing legacy cabinets, they each add an extra game. So now there's 14 games on them. And the artwork is different. So for Mortal Kombat, it is the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. So you're getting the original Mortal Kombat artwork sort of on there. And instead of Mortal Kombat 2, which all of their Mortal Kombat related products up to this point have been, so they did the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, which had 1, 2, and the ultimate version of 3. They did a bar top version and a cocktail version. They're all Mortal Kombat 2 artwork, which is Raiden on the side shooting lightning, which is a great image. Yeah. It looks great. So no complaints there. I do, nostalgic wise, the Mortal Kombat 1 artwork, while it's not as good technically, for nostalgia for me, since I started playing with Mortal Kombat 1, that's really cool. So that would be a cool addition to my arcade. It is missing something though, which a lot of people have already complained about. So if you look at the sides of the cabinet, it just has the dragon design on there. It is missing the image of Daniel Pesina, who is on the sides of the original cabinet. This is not for size because the one that I have is a 3/4 scale, which is smaller than these legacy cabinets, and they fit Raiden on the side shooting lightning. So they could have easily fit Daniel Pesina on the side. So I don't know if he didn't sign off on it or whatever the issue is there. For anybody who doesn't know, Daniel Pesina is one of the actors who plays the Mortal Kombat characters. So what set Mortal Kombat apart from the other fighting games at the time is they used digitized images of real actors to give it a more realistic look to it. So Daniel Pesina plays a couple of the characters, and including Johnny Cage, who is on the side of the machine. I'm not a Johnny Cage fan, but for anybody who's familiar with the backstory of Mortal Kombat, originally it was going to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game. That is how the game was originally conceived. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, for whatever reason, I don't know how far into the development they were, but backed out of it. So they made Johnny Cage as a parody of Jean-Claude Van Damme. So that's why he does splits and makes weird noises and stuff like that. So they put him right on the side of the machine to kind of rub it in Jean-Claude Van Damme's face. And he is missing from the side of the machine. So for me, that's not a deal breaker, but I have seen some people are upset by it. I am curious as to why they made the change, because obviously they made it work with Raiden on the side on a 3/4 scale. They could fit Daniel Pesina on the side of a larger cabinet.
Still think they slightly missed the boat and should have gone with Nicolas Cage. in all his different movie roles as a playable character, which would have been pretty awesome.
That would have been good. I would definitely buy that. I would definitely buy Mortal Kombat. Oh, and there was also a Supreme branded Mortal Kombat. I forgot one. So they've done quite a few Mortal Kombat cabinets, and I'm probably going to get this one to upgrade my existing one.
Sounds good. Oh, and then another and slightly less groundbreaking or interesting, but still of note in CES, iArcade has kind of answered the call, and that folks have wanted to kind of see them come out with an actually much more of a cabinet than just kind of tabletop kind of plays. And so they announced that today. Looks good. Has that fine iArcade sound, that 100-watt speakers that I think nothing else matches up against. So that's all still real good. It is ultimately a base that their countertop sits on top of. but it's done well, and it looks pretty good. It's got a nice size to it as well.
Yeah, it looks a lot more like a traditional arcade cabinet, which
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, I've never played iArcade. I understand they use very high-end materials, so they are a good quality cabinet in that sense, but their design is weird. I've never liked their design. Looking at the pictures of it, I just don't like the way their cabinets are designed.
Yeah, and I've been, watching videos on it and some other things, and I kind of keep hearing this thing. They go, well, they've gone with more the American style arcade thing. So what I lack the world traveling arcade expertise to know what the European style of arcade games are, or the Canadian style. These are things I don't know, but apparently maybe it's closer to what the iArcade footprint looks like.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things about that. So apparently they didn't create that style. That wasn't something that was designed for them. They are mimicking some sort of arcade cabinet. I just am not familiar with it. And I prefer what I guess is the American style cabinets with the larger prominent marquees that stick out over the monitor, which they did not have. They had the marquee sits back behind the monitor with the front forward firing speakers being more prominent where the marquee would be.
Yep. So we came across credit where credit's due. Mike came across these here and talked about, hey, we got to knock out a quick show about it. So we did want to share some initial impressions. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Any of these think anything you're excited about, how you're feeling about that $1,000 price point? Is that a trigger you're going to be able to pull? And any other thoughts you have. So anything else for this video, Mike?
No, just that I think 1,000 is putting me out for that. So because there's already a lot of rumors that they are going to announce a Mortal Kombat Pro line as well. That'll be the next one, or one of the next ones announced. No, I'm gonna go with this Legacy one, I think, which is probably going to come into that $400 to $500 price range that most of them do. And I'll stick with that. It's larger than the one that I currently have. It has more games. It's all upgraded. At $1,000 for full size, I might as well just buy a couple of full size arcade cabinets. So that puts it out of what I'm trying to do.
Yep. Makes sense. Cool. Well, as always, folks, we appreciate your watching, and shoot any comments our way. Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.